welcome to Wednesday, everybody. Oh, look, I'm in the sunshine there. That's exciting. That's new. The sun's in a different place this time of year. Different times of day. It comes in the window. But during this time of the year, apparently, as it becomes fall and moves toward winter, the sun comes right in my window. That's kind of cool. All right, I'll stand back here, though. I don't know, maybe I'll stand up here. It's kind of nice to have the sun in my eyes to welcome the sun with loving light. Ready, set? The sun with loving light. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to sing Are You Here? Good morning, first grade. Are you here? Will you stand up and sing back? Yes, Mr. Coulter, we are here. Now we're ready for the morning verse. The sun, say it with me, with loving light makes bright for me each day. The heart with sacred power gives strength unto my limbs. In sunlight shining clear, I am reverent. The strength of humankind has so graciously been planted in my soul, that I, with all my might, may love to work and learn. Toward us comes light and strength. From us rise love and thanks. All right. Morning has come, sing with me. Night is away. Bring your hands up. Rise with the sun and welcome the day. Bend all the way over. Oh, I like to rise when the sun she rises early in the morning. I like to hear the small birds singing merrily upon their way. Hey, hey, hooray for the life of a Kona kid, tumbled in the sunlit waves. Someone came knocking at my wee small door. Someone came knocking, I'm sure, sure, sure. I opened, I listened, I looked from left to right. Not a creature was stirring in the still dark night. New Halloween song for you. I've been sharing this with students for a long time. Goes like this. Have you seen the ghost of John? Long white bones with the rest all gone. Ooh, wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Boo. All right, that's my songs for the day. And want to go back one more time to Peter Piper, because we were doing Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where is the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Now, the challenge is to do this. Say it again, but don't make any P sounds. So it sounds like I've never even tried this. I just thought of that just now, because when I've been doing the assessments of you guys, I've been trying to teach you or ask you to say words and drop off a sound, or say only one part of the word. So if I say cat, I'll say, tell me only the middle sound. K, a, t. So you only say a. Or I'll say cat, but leave off the last sound, and you'd say k, a, ca. So, Peter Piper, eater, iper, icht, eck of ickled eppers. If eater, iper, icht, eck of ickled eppers, where is the eck of ickled eppers, eater, iper, icht? There you have it. Peter Piper with no sound. Eater, iper, icht, eck of ickled eppers. Okay, try that at home, but don't hurt yourself. All right. Let's call in Auntie Jackie, who is ready to roll. And let's see here. Auntie Jackie, are you there? There she is. Knock, 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 knock. Who is it?
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Coulter.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me today. I'm taking you outside of the stage. garden. I like this little stool. I like my papers, and take a look here. I have my paper. I gave you guys some paper, and I gave you my paper. I also gave you some cardboard, but let's see what you've got. I've got the paper, got my cat, he likes to hang out, and I'm going to draw on this paper today. So I took a couple of my pencils from the house and a spoon. Okay. Let's take a look what we have right here on the edges of my garden. I've got grass. You feel that grass? But we also have rocks and then garden soil and a whole bunch of plants. So what I'm inviting you guys to do today is to come outside and see what you find at the edge here, at the edge of the rocks and the edge of the grass and right at the edge of the plants. So I encourage you to take your spoon and just start digging around and see what you find. And yesterday I was talking about who to share the garden with. So this is a really good way to just figure out a few signs. Like, are there any clues about who we share the garden with? There is a clue. Can you see that? That's a shell. So this shell is not from the ocean. This shell is from a snail. I'm not going to touch it though. When we are working in the garden, we got to remember we got to wash our hands when we're done. And as you go around here in the garden, I'm going to invite you to look for things that show you that someone else is here that we share the garden with. Now, perhaps I might look at this and say, oh, this looks like a fairy's hat. Okay? I'm going to put it in my jar. And perhaps you'll take a look at something like the shell or a wing and say, oh, this looks like the wing of a bird or a wing of a butterfly. And you may even find an insect that lets you scoop it up and put it in your jar for a little while. Now my jar is nice size, but I don't know where the lid is. So if I were to put an insect in here, I would expect, what would you expect? Would you expect it to crawl out the other side? No. I would expect this insect would try and get out, and that would be okay. But for a little while, I would be able to watch it inside. This way, we can get our paper out from our kitty cat, and we can take some time to draw what we think, what we imagine, and what we see of who shares our garden. Now, I have not turned up any insects at this moment, but yesterday when I was outside sharing with you, I got back inside my house and something bit me in the leg, and I couldn't see what it was. So then I was busy, and it bit me again, and I looked. You guys, it was a pincher bug. Pincher bugs don't usually bite, but this one was very bothered that he had managed to get, or she had managed to get on my skin. So I am going to give tribute to that pincher bug. I'm going to draw a pincher bug today. And I'm going to just start with it. It's hard to show you with a phone in my hand. But I think I remember pincher bugs have 3 body parts and some legs. Without having it in front of me, I'm going to use my imagination. There's his pinchers. I think that pincher bug has some whiskers, maybe, and maybe some eyes. But the more I try to learn about my friends in the garden, the more I'm going to learn them. Next time I see a pincher bug, I'm going to check it. Does it look like that? And you know what? Since we have new season coming, I'm just going to color this pincher bug a new color that's not normal. So I invite all of you first graders to get outside and take a look about who is sharing your garden, and then see what you can do about making a nice pond of it. You can do 1 time, you could do 2 times. Take your time, add some color. And if you're careful, bring your jar outside. You might use a plastic jar. But then when you're done, you could say goodbye to your friends. You could blow away anything that could be like a fairy or a gnome. But using your imagination and your quiet time, you will find that you notice different friends sharing our garden. So I will say have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. Coulter.
Thank you, Auntie Jackie. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. sharing space, sharing garden space, sharing home spaces, sharing classroom spaces and work spaces. People all around the world share things, don't they? And I think that a lot of places, people share even more than we do. In Hawaii, I've noticed people really share so nicely. I know that people always bring their fruits and different things from their farm, just bring them to work or bring them to soccer practice or wherever you're going. And it's one of the most amazing things about living here, I think. And I've been in places where people share, a whole bunch of people share a small room to sleep in. Places where people are working really hard to earn a whole bunch of money and don't want to spend very much on a place to live, or there's just not enough shelters around. And hey, get used to it. It's just like camping. You end up sleeping in a small little tent with a whole bunch of people, and it's fun. And just like everything, we get used to it. So remember that next time you're wishing you had more space or didn't have to share something, right? All right, that's good for that. Now, the day and the date. We'll do that next. Today is Wednesday, as I said, miércoles in Espanol. And we'll bring it up close so you can see better. Hoy es miércoles. Today is Wednesday. Gotta start doing something else in Spanish besides the days of the week, huh? When I play Candyland with my children, I try to say the colors in Spanish. Azul, amarillo, blue, yellow, different words like that. And then we have them in Hawaiian too, which I did have written down here on the board in a small place so I could remember to start bringing those, but I had to erase them. All right, anyway, today's Wednesday. Whoa. It's a fancy cursive W, but you can see how it looks the same or similar, kind of tipped over a little bit. Here's the E, wed, and Wednesday has a D in it in a funny place. Wed, N. It looks like a lowercase n. It looks more like a lowercase m, doesn't it? When we make an M in cursive, we put a third one on there. You can think of this part here as this part. Anyway, wed, ness, day. D, A, Y. And we learned cursive officially in the 3rd grade, but I like to show it to you so you get really used to it and you can start reading it even before you learn to write it. And then when you learn to write it, it's much easier. October, O, C, T, O, B, E, R. What is today? October 27th. 7. Bite your tongue and say 7. All right, with another comma right there. 2020. 2, 0, 2, 0. Try to make your 2's from the top. All letters, numbers, everything gets formed from the top. Some people make their numbers from down there, and that's not really the right way to do it. It'll pay off in the long run. Just switch it. Today is Wednesday, October 27th, 2020. Will you say it with me? Today is Wednesday, October 27th, 2020. Hoy es miércoles 27 de octubre 2020. En español, hoy es miércoles 27 de octubre 2020. Gotta get that right. All right. Days of the week in English: Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and back to Wednesday. So say them every day one time with me, and pretty soon you'll just know them backwards and forwards. En español, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo, lunes, martes, and back to miércoles. All right. Counting the days of the months of the year. Again, we really study that more in 3rd grade actually, but we can start learning them and we can memorize them between now and 2nd grade. By the 2nd grade, we'll have them memorized. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. All right. So, over here in the number corner, we're going to go and do the next thing. So over here. Okay. And we have our patterns that we've been following along here. And just a reminder, the apples, the leaves, 4 apples, 5 leaves, 6 nuts, 7 squash, 8 apples, 9 leaves, and 10 nuts. So these cards are really supposed to be like that. That's the 31st, the 30th, the 29th, and today's the 28th. So the question is, what do you think is going to be on this card? Well, let's see. We had 3 with apples, 3 with leaves, 4 with nuts, 4 with squash, 5 with apples, 5 with leaves. Now we're on to nuts. So we only have 3 nuts so far, so I'm guessing we're going to have more nuts. 5 with nuts, 5 with leaves. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with nuts. And what comes after nuts in our pattern? Let's see, apples, leaves, nuts, squash. So, and how many squash will there be? There were 7 here. And then there were 8 apples, 9 leaves, 10 nuts. I wonder if there'll be 11 squash. And I wonder what kind of squash we will see. I don't know. But today's the 27th, 28th rather. And this card here, this was yesterday's card. Yesterday we had 2 nuts. The day before we had 2 walnuts. The day before we had 1 walnut, and the day before no walnuts. And then we had 1 walnut, 2 walnuts. I'm guessing maybe 3 walnuts. Let's check. Indeed, 3 walnuts. A little squirrel gathered some nuts. I know other animals must eat acorns. I know a lot of animals eat all kinds of nuts. Let's just call it a squirrel, though. I don't want to say something that's wrong. Squirrel gathered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 nuts. 7 of them were acorns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the nuts were acorns. How many were walnuts? 8, 9, 10. 3 were walnuts. So we made a little math story about the nuts. Days in school. This is the 38th day in school, I believe. So, unless I've lost track somehow along the way. 38th day, so we'll color in one more. That was with chalk. I'll do a little bit better job there. Crayon and all the rest of them. And this one was chalk too. Okay, so we have 5, 10, 15, 20. I should start from the bottom because that's where I started doing it. 5, 10, say it with me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Now we have to switch to counting by ones again. 35, 36, 37, 38. 38 days of school. We could also count them by tens because we know that this line here makes 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we could say 10, 20, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. Switching from counting by tens to fives and then ones again, right? 10, 20, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. All right, that's good for there. That's good for that, I'd say. Now, back over here. And we can do a little hand clapping, because we haven't done that yet. We haven't done much moving around yet. Maybe we'll do new shoes first. Okay? Here we go. Ready for your new shoes? I'll take my shoes off for this one. Ready? Standing up. Point your right foot out and say, new shoes, new shoes. Jump. Red, cross, brown, blue shoes. Fat shoes and flat shoes and stomp around like that shoes. Which shoes shall I choose? Ready? One more time. New shoes, new shoes. Jump. Red, brown, blue shoes. Fat shoes and flat shoes and stomp around like that shoes. Which shoes shall I choose? All right. Little hand clapping. I was hoping someone would be around, but I can't see anybody around in the classroom, so we'll do it just us. Let's just do let's see if I can remember this other one that we were doing yesterday. Tiny Tim. Yeah. Oh yeah, I couldn't remember the end of it. Let's start with Miss Mary Mac. Miss, ready? Hands together. Get ready to put your right hand forward and cross across your body to meet me or your grown-up or your sibling or cousin, whoever's there. Ready? Miss Mary Mac, 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 all dressed in black. It rhymes. Black, black with silver buttons, buttons, buttons all down her back. Rhymes with black. Black, back. She asked her mother, mother, mother for 50 cents, cents, cents to see the elephants, elephants, elephants jump over the fence with rhymes with sense. Fence, they jump so high. I'm gonna have sky next. High, they reach the sky. Rhymes with high, sky, sky. And they never came back, back, back till the 4th of July. Rhymes with sky, lie, lie. All right. Miss, ready? Miss Lucy had a baby. She named him Tiny Tim. She put him in the bathtub to see if he could swim. He drank up all the water. He ate up all the soap. Oh no. He tried to eat the bathtub, but it wouldn't go down his throat. Miss Lucy called the doctor. The doctor called the nurse. The nurse called the lady with the alligator purse. And I think it says, out, out ran the doctor. Out ran the nurse. Out ran the lady with the alligator purse. And now Tiny Tim is homesick in bed with, oops, I messed that up, with soap in his throat and bubbles in his head. All right, that's kind of a silly one. If you ever ate soap by accident, boy, that's a terrible feeling to have soap in your mouth, isn't it? Poor Tiny Tim. Oh, I wanted to explain something. The alligator purse, what is that? What does that mean? Well, down where alligators live, in many places, just like with many other animals, human beings have killed them to eat them and also to use their other body parts. And as you know, the Native American people and Native Hawaiian people used all kinds of different parts of animals. I'm not as familiar with the Native Hawaiian people, but I know the Native American people hunted buffaloes and many other animals and used their skins and their furs to keep warm and ate their bodies, and also used their bones for sewing needles and many other things. So alligator skins are no exception. People have made purses and boots and all kinds of things out of alligator skins, especially good, I guess, for that. So she had a purse made of alligator skin. That's what that means, alligator purse. Just in case you were wondering. Oh, all right. Let's do the form drawing in the main lesson book. So form drawing, main lesson book, and we'll get that started. I'll get my board ready. You get your main lesson book ready. I'll turn the lights on too, because that might be a little nicer. All right. Form drawing on a piece of paper in your main lesson book. We're going to do two things in the main lesson book today. So let's take our main lesson book, find the very next blank page, and let's turn it this way. Put the spiral at the top, and I will do it on this page so you can see that what you will be doing. So we're going to make, with a crayon, a line like this. It's going to come loop and down and straight up and down and loop and down and straight up and down, loop and down and straight up and down, just like we practiced yesterday on the blackboard. If you would like to practice one more time on a blackboard, that might be a good idea. And instead of doing two like this, the second one is going to be upside down. So the second one will look like this. We're going to go down first, down, and then up with a loop. And then we'll go down with a spike, down with a loop, down with a spike, and down if there's room for a loop. So we'll do that in our main lesson book right now. I think I will try to do mine with a crayon, so it's more like yours. And I'll do it against the wall so that you can see it really well. Okay, here we go. Here's my main lesson book. I practiced with my finger, loop, spike, loop, spike, loop, spike on the top half of the paper. So starting near the middle, go loop, spike, loop, spike, loop, spike. Okay, now upside down. Loop, spike, loop, spike, loop, spike, and done. And there is our form drawing. Tricky one, I think. A little bit tricky, potentially. It's hard even for grown-ups and professional artists and whoever else who's got a lot of experience with that kind of thing to do it just perfectly, isn't it? All right, now, when that's done, you can turn the page, and we are going to do this drawing. So on Wednesday morning, we have a social call, and we have a few kids who come on to just say hello to each other, to say hello to me. It's really nice for me because I can get to know the children a little bit better, because it's the worst thing for me is starting a new class and not getting to know you. I mean, you know me pretty well because here I am every day chatting to you away, and you got to know my silly sense of humor and all the different things about how I look and act, but I don't really know you as well as I would like to, and that's the thing that I really miss the most right now. So anybody who wants to come on Wednesday mornings, even for a few minutes, you can come on at 8:45 and say hello for 5-10 minutes, or come in on at 8:30 with some of the other kids and say hello to them. And we talk about all kinds of stuff, whatever we feel like talking about. And if there's only a few kids, we don't even have to raise our hand. We can just talk to each other. All kinds of cool sharing. All right, here's the main lesson drawing today. We have a double main lesson page with an umbrella, umbrella, which starts with U, a short vowel sound, they call it, as opposed to the long vowel sound. When I say long vowel, it's oo. When I say short vowel, I mean for umbrella. Just like we did the elephant and the apple with the A, and the elephant with the E, and I think we did an igloo. We didn't do a drawing for igloo, actually, now that I think about it. We should. And then, once we have all of them together, I'm going to make a page like this with you, that we will make this one together. We've already done the apple and the elephant. We've done an octopus. And today we'll do the umbrella. I like to make rainbow colors in my umbrella, or just multicolors in this case, it looks like. And the only thing I didn't show you how to do is an igloo, which I've made before of snow. It's pretty fun. But we'll do this another day. For now, we're doing this other one with the rainbow and the U. I guess we could go over a couple things that start with U first. Only a few things here, and here is indeed an umbrella. It's a closed up umbrella made of a little toy thing. I don't know if it opens or not. Doesn't look like it. Umbrella, umbrella. And of course, this is the long U sound. This is a unicorn. A unicorn head, at least. Beautiful. Horse with a horn on its forehead. And there's only one more thing in here besides these uppercase and lowercase U. And we did do that with beeswax, I think, yesterday. But there's also the United States. There it is. That's what some people call the mainland, the United States mainland. And over here where my finger is the California. And over on the other side is New York and other places. And then lots and lots of places in between. The bottom one, people always recognize that one as Texas. And this one is Florida. And I'm from a place up here called Minneapolis, up in this state up here called Minnesota, right there. That's where I grew up. Freezing cold there. Yes, it is. Freezing cold. This time of year, already plenty of snow on the ground, I bet. I know it snowed there at least once this year. And it keeps on snowing. November, December, January, February, March. Finally, springtime comes in April. It doesn't melt, all of it's not melted until sometime in May. So that's half a year with snow. Very cold sometimes there. It's kind of fun to be cold sometimes. All right, here is the main lesson page, and this is my page here. I'm going to cut it in half, just like I did. I guess I should make you be able to see that one too. Just like I did the other one there. So I'm going to do that. Here's my line. You can use a blue crayon. Split your page in half. And get out your rainbow colors. So you're going to need red, orange, green, blue, and purple. There's really sort of a seventh color in there, but we'll just not worry about that one. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. If you've got two different colors of blue, that's a good plan too. Let's see, here's my orange, here's some yellow, here's some red, orange, yellow, green. I might have to dig up a green somewhere. Red, orange, yellow, green. Let's see, this will do. And blue and purple. Okay, I've got them all there. All right, so now let's go ahead and do the rainbow up here. So I'm gonna get the red as high up as I can into the sky and just make a gentle arc like that. Not too tight of an arc. I think they usually are actually a little tighter than that. But that's what I have, red, orange. I'm gonna overlap a little bit. Yellow, overlap a little bit. Verde, oh, now's a good time to use the Spanish words. Verde, green, verde. Rojo, laranja, I think, unless I'm saying it in Portuguese. Rojo, laranja, amarillo, verde, azul, I don't know if in Spanish we say violeta, we probably say marrón is the word I usually hear for purple, marrón. I'm not sure if you can say violeta. I'm pretty sure you can also say violeta. It's a violet, means violet color, which is a little bit different than purple, I guess. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing down below. I'm going to take I'm going to go a little light though on my border. I'm going to go red all the way around. Rojo, say rojo, rojo. You can say it without rolling the R if you want. You can say rojo, but if you want to say it properly, you roll the R. Rojo, 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 a little bit. Roll the R, rojo. Say it a few times to yourself as you look at that red color. Rojo, rojo, rojo. Red. Laranja. Laranja, laranja. Say it 4 times as you go around the circle, around the rectangle rather. Laranja, laranja. Amarillo, get your amarillo. Amarillo, amarillo. Amarillo, amarillo, verde, 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 azul, 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 azul. Saying it with me? Violeta. I guess we can just fill in the whole middle part with violeta here. A marrón. There we go. Now the umbrella. So you can take a black stick crayon or a brown stick crayon or a blue stick crayon and make the umbrella. So I make the umbrella like this. I make a curve like that. In mine, I had to do the umbrella right on top of rainbow because I didn't have room. On this one I have a little more room. So you can, it doesn't matter where you put this line. Just make a nice curved line. And now underneath it, I'm gonna do a bit of a form drawing. So you could just draw a line here, but really an umbrella does a couple little points like this. It doesn't look right somehow though. Oh well. All right, and then there's a little thing at the top in the middle, and then the part that you hold comes down and loops up into this kind of a U shape down there, isn't there? Umbrella. And then I'm going to make a few lines. I'm actually going to make 6 lines, but it doesn't matter how many you make. And then I'm going to fill in these with color. And it doesn't matter what colors you fill in here, but I'm going to use the same ones. Rojo, naranja, amarillo, verde, azul, well, I'm supposed to have 2 different colors of azul here, so I'm going to switch to this one because I made 7 sections, and violeta or marron, purple. Okay, there's my whole picture. Now I just need to do a background. So I'll put some blue up here for the sky, even though really, usually when I see a rainbow here, usually what I'm looking at is clouds, and the sun is over here behind me. And then down here, I used green because there's lots of green trees and plants and grass. But you could also use blue. You could also take your black block crayon, if you have one, and go over this blue a little bit to make it look a little darker back there. Verde, filling in the background. And now you can take your black stick or your blue stick and make green. Just light little lines like that. All right. I didn't put any rain under the umbrella because I guess you wouldn't see any there maybe. All right, now with letter U, and I'm gonna go down here to my bottom part of my main lesson page, and I'm just going to decide where I'm going to put my U. I think I'll use the yellow as my bottom line in my case, but you can use anything. You can see in this one I used red, but here I don't need that much space. You can just sort of decide where your bottom line is going to be. And I guess if the bottom line is the yellow, I'll also consider the top border also yellow, and I'll make my big U. And about halfway there, I'll make my little U. And there we have it. For umbrella. And there are many words that have a U in the middle. So let's think about that. The word fun has a U in the middle. Bun. Like the bun in your hair, or the bun you cook and eat, made of bread. Run, sun, gun. Oops. That's about enough, I think. I'd say that's enough. So there are several words ending in UN. They all rhyme with fun, bun, run, sun, gun. And we can sound them out, starting at the top. Fun, fun. And bun, 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 bun. Run, run. Sun, sun. And gun. I like to have fun and eat a bun. I like to run in the sun. And gun, it's a tricky one. I like to play with a pretend gun. How about that? Gun, sun, run, bun, fun. All right, that is good for that. And now I'm going to read you the story for the letter V. From Tippy Toes. Okay, here we go. Letter V. V is for valley. V is for valley between mountains so tall, said Pinecone, pointing to Tumbledown Valley. Tumbledown Valley is the biggest, tallest, and steepest valley in the Snowy Mountains. You can see it from the loft of Farmer John's barn. That's where Pinecone was sitting, with Tom and June and Pepperpot. The loft smelled richly of hay and straw. It always smelled of harvest time up there. Tom and June carefully drew Tumbledown Valley and put a V inside of it. Why is it called Tumbledown Valley? Asked Tom. Because rocks tumble down its side, said June. That's what Dad told me. He's right and he's wrong, said Pepperpot. I think that's incorrect. He was lying on the hay and chewing a piece of straw. How is he right and how is he wrong? Asked Tom. He's right that humans think that it's called Tumbledown Valley because rocks tumble down its side, said Pepperpot. But he's wrong because we gnomes know the real reason it's called Tumbledown Valley. And why is that? Asked June. Because Big Stamp the Barefoot Giant, said Pepperpot, he was marching along, minding his own business, when all of a quickness, the biggest of the cave trolls, Bangle Brootsmoot, stood in his way. What are you doing in my mountains? Demanded Bangle fiercely. Your mountains, said Big Stamp. Who said they're your mountains? I do, said Bangle. Ha, snorted Big Stamp. Ha 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 ha! I shall walk wherever I wish, and na the boo-boo to you, you old toady-woady. This was too much for Bangle Brute Smoot. His face turned livid red, and his nose changed to gruesome green. Steam hissed from his ears, and foam bubbled out of his mouth, and his teeth grew sharper and longer by the second. Uh-oh, thought Big Stamp, seeing such an ugsome sight. Time to get out of here. And off he ran across the snowy mountains. He ran so fast and with such great strides that each step of his landed on the top of a mountain. And the snowy mountains, as you know, are pointy. Ow, 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 my footsies, cried Big Stamp as he ran along, looking back to see how close Bangle was behind him. And this was a bad thing, said Pepperpot, for Bangle wasn't behind him at all. He was ahead of him. He'd dived deep underground and run along troll corridors beneath the mountains. Suddenly, just as Big Stamp, the barefoot giant, stepped onto the tallest peak, Bangle's hand shot out of a cave and grabbed him by the foot. Oi! Cried Big Stamp, tumbling down the mountainside into the valley below. Oi, 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 oi! He cried, as trees and rocks and boulders came tumbling down along with him. In an instant, Bangle was out of the cave and rushing madly toward Big Stamp. Oh, what a fight there was that day, with Bangle biting chunks out of Big Stamp and Big Stamp bashing Bangle with his club. Back and forth they battled until, at last, Big Stamp stuffed Bangle back into the cave and pounded a mountain till the cave's walls collapsed in a pile of rubble. And stay there, shouted Big Stamp, stamping his feet so hard that 3 toes fell off of each foot. After that, he was called Big Stamp Two Toes, the barefoot giant. Just to make sure Bangle Brute Smoot stayed put, Big Stamp lived in that valley for 1,000 years. He called it Tumbledown Valley because he'd tumbled down one of its sides. When he fought Brute Smoot, he was only a young giant, and he kept growing and growing over 1,000 years. He stayed in the valley. At the end, when he slept, his head was resting on one peak, and his feet were on the other, and his bottom was at the lowest part of the valley. Ever since then, the lowest part of the valley has been called the bottom. Big Stamp Two Toes, the barefoot giant, is long gone, said Pepperpot. But all the little folk, the gnomes and tree fairies especially, remembered what happened, and whenever they wanted to write about Big Stamp, they drew a picture of him sleeping in the valley. Later, they got lazy and just drew the letter V. When the first humans came along, the fairy folk whispered the name of the valley into their ears and told them about the letter V. That's the real reason the valley is called Tumbledown and why the V is written like it is. And that's the truth, said Pepperpot, which is as long as my beard and as pointy as my ears. All right, that's it for this day. Thank you very much for being with me today and learning and working so hard to learn all your letters and numbers. Be well, do good work. See you next time.